I was privileged to edit a new revised translation of the Madame de Staël's considerations on the main events of the French Revolution. And she was a contemporary of Guizot, and she knew Guizot because she died in 1817. She died at the age of 51. She was, as someone pointed out, one of the greatest forces in Europe at the time. There are three major powers, someone said, whom you have to reckon with in 1814. It was Tsar Alexander I, the Pope, and Madame de Staël, or something like this. It gives you a sense that people remembered her and not Napoleon. She became very famous for her opposition to Napoleon, who actually sent her into exile. She was the heir to a very rich family. Her father was Jacques Necker, the Minister of Finance and then Prime Minister of Louis XVI, who rose to power in the 1780s and then retreated from politics to the Château de Coppet in Switzerland, the place of where they resided, and where the family still resides to this day on the Lake Léman. And Madame de Staël was a flamboyant personality. She was married to the Swedish ambassador to France, the Baron von Holstein, and their marriage was not a happy one. She is known for having had lots of liaisons. She was attracted to many intelligent men, Benjamin Constant among others. They had a fantastic intellectual relationship. But she was, above all, one of the greatest, what the French call salonières of the 18th and 19th century. She had a salon, a room that she would always dominate through her sparkling personality and great gift for conversation. If there's one thing that we remember her today is for her opposition to Napoleon, but I think that her gift for conversation really made her stand above, heads and shoulders above her generation. She was an animatrice, someone who would bring life into a conversation, and she knew exactly how to keep people interested. This is a talent that has been lost in our society today. And there's a beautiful book by Benedetta Craveri, published a few years ago in Italian and then translated into English, The Age of Conversation, and I think that book gives us a sense of what Madame de Staël was, such a spirit that would bring to life. She was a great writer, a major writer in her own terms. She wrote literature, 2 major novels, Delphine and Corinne, and also she wrote an account of her exile, 10 years of exile, and finally she wrote political books. The consideration is her magnum opus. It's a book published posthumously. She passed away in 1817. She'd never finished the book. She completed almost the entire book, but the book was published after her death, and it was immediately translated into 7 languages. The English translation that we revised for the Liberty Fund edition was published anonymously in 1818, and it was a fairly good, occasionally unreliable translation that needed updating. But again, we have a major writer, a character above all, someone who fought for liberty and courageously opposed Napoleon. She knew Guizot because Guizot was prominent already in 1815, 1816, and I think she knew him quite well, but to my knowledge I have no document that is a testament of any possible encounters. She was ill by the time Guizot rose to power, so by 1816 she had returned to France, but she became ill in 1816. And she had some other family issues that prevented her from being very public in those days. One of the doctrinaires, I should point out, Charles de Rémusat, wrote a wonderful text in 1818 in Archives politiques, philosophiques et littéraires, a journal edited by the doctrinaires, in which he wrote about the importance of this book for the generation that emerged from the ruins of the Revolution and Napoleon's reign. Rémusat wrote that piece. It's a roughly 50-page long essay in which he talks about the legacy of Madame de Staël's ideas for the new generation, and he praised her Musat praised her for opening the way to this opening the eyes of this new generation towards a new horizon. And in a way, I think both Musat and Guizot saw her as one of the pillars of the new society that they were trying to build. Madame de Staël wrote two books, as I mentioned, Delphine and Corinne, that made a forceful case for the presence of women in society. She was an aristocratic woman, she was a rich woman, but not an aristocratic person, because her father had been a banker. The fact that she was rich did matter, and she had this title of Baroness because she married the Baron of von Holstein. But the important thing is that she really made a lasting contribution to a new genre and helped many women reconceptualize their role in society. And to this day, there's a different place that she occupies in the history of feminism in France and in America. In France, her role is acknowledged. But in America, feminists have treated her with skepticism and frankly have ignored her for a long time. The fact that this book, the considerations on the considerations on the main events of the French Revolution, has been out of print for how many years? Almost 200 years, is a testimony to the fact that her political works have been neglected. And I want to commend Liberty Fund and those who worked with me on this project for not the courage, but for the determination to bring back a major name. The fact that she was a liberal who defended freedom made her particularly important in that time. And I think that American feminists stand to learn a great deal from reading their political works. They have talked a lot about their literary works, to their credit, but the political side of Madame de Staël's works has remained somewhat neglected, and it's my great joy to see this book widely circulated today and hopefully widely read.